Hi, welcome. I'm Black Gummy, and if you don't know about my channel or what I do, I make games, I make art, I just be doing whatever I do. Today, I just wanted to talk about my Otome game project that I've been working on. I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've been doing. I know I've made some streams about it, but if you haven't watched any of those, then don't worry because I'm going to try to make videos breaking down the characters, the story, and what game mechanics I'm going to put into the game. I'm going to try to keep a very detailed assessment and of the process of making this game because this will be my first dating sim type of game. So, wish me luck and hopefully we get through this together. The design concepts I had originally were about a family, a very powerful family of magicians who were torn between two different nations, the Moon and the Sun Kingdom. There was Myra, there was Phoenix, and then there was their mother, who was the late queen of the Sun Kingdom. These concepts were actually interesting to me at first as a fairy tale. I was really designing the idea of a fairy tale. But as I kept working through it, I recognized that there was just too many characters to deal with. I had never played or made anything with this amount of characters. I mean, it was just far too much for me as a first timer in making all these different routes. So I had to really limit the size of cast. And at first I didn't really want to do that. I just kept messing with them, changing them, changing the designs and things like that. Played around with a few ideas. I mean, I really love the idea of having a princess for different kingdoms, being a princess of the Moon Kingdom and also being a princess of the Sun Kingdom. I really like these two dynamics. I mean, I made a poster for it and obviously I really liked it enough to go that far because, man, that took a long time. And I kept fiddling with the characters, kept changing their designs, trying to see what I can salvage out of them. And after a while, it started to take its toll. So I talked to some of my friends, and they were saying, you probably should just limit it to two characters that you can actually control. Have only two love interests, which is what I ended up doing. And it was really hard to decide. I actually ended up combining a few characters, and you will see this when I talk about the two love interests. But the most important takeaway of this is that the Secret Garden is just a tentative name. It was its original concept, but the current story is basically a murder mystery Otome game. That is what we're doing today, guys. And let me tell you, I'm struggling with this concept. I mean, I love the idea of it, but it is difficult. Myra is a very interesting main character for this Otome murder mystery thing. Originally, she was supposed to be very more happy-go-lucky and very go with the flow, very much a free spirit, and enjoyed a little debauchery. But I did have to change her a lot over time, and it wasn't just with her personality, but I did have to change her initial design. A lot of her designs were around her outfits and it depicted different types of aspects of her character. She was a person who liked to be playfully deceitful, where now she's just who she is. She's still confident, but she's definitely more reserved, definitely a little bit more aggressive, and definitely a lot more curious. Myra's originally supposed to be a magician who could not use magic. She instead makes magical crafts using crystals and using her knowledge of fairies and magic itself to create these really interesting theories and designs. I really wanted her to be a craftsman, which is why her tag is magical merchant. She wants to go out in the world and make a place for herself where she's accepted in some way because of her ability. She's very talented, but because she can't use magic, it is a huge sore spot for her. Her brother and her mother are still those very talented and powerful magicians, and to come from a family that's so powerful and so well known and not be able to use magic is a huge detriment to everything that Myra wants to be. So a lot of the story is going to focus on these insecurities that she may have about being someone who understands magic more than actual magicians, but cannot use it herself. And there is an explanation as to why she can't use it. Also, because she can't use magic, there is a lot more tension between her and her family, and I really wanted to highlight that in the game as well, where she doesn't really get along with her brother, and that after her mother's passing there is a lot of conflicting feelings about her mother and the treatment that she got from her family. I don't want to make this into a whole your family's terrible and they're awful too. I wanted to make it way more complex in the relationship she has with her family, and part of that is also forgiving and accepting those differences, especially when one person is passed. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about our first love interest, which is Amadeo. Amadeo is one of the first designs I made, and he has been pretty consistent in his design. I definitely made him interesting. A lot of what I ask my friends is that he looks intimidating, he looks difficult, and you would be right. He is shrewd and stern. That is definitely his attributes. He is a merchant and a very good one at that, and he is like one of the first people you'll probably encounter in the game where he's like your partner in a sense, and he's brought you back to your hometown without actually knowing too much about you, which is Myra. He doesn't know much about Myra, but you guys have been hanging out for a couple of months before the beginnings of the story, and you're at this point where you're trying to solidify a deal with him where you sell your magical wares under his name. And in doing that and making this deal, for some reason he's brought you all the way to the Sun Kingdom in some form of a test to see if you're qualified as a magical merchant. In this world, magic is very limited, and there's only like really 3 ways to engage with magic. And for someone like Myra, who can engage with magic outside of those 3 ways, there is a lot of doubt and question of what her actual skills and ability is, and that's where Amadeo comes in. Although he's a love interest, so obviously there's more to it. He's not just constantly doubting you or anything, but there will be some conflicts with him. Amadeo is definitely going to be a fun character for me, at least because I love a snotty, rude, mean dude. Cian is our last love interest of the game. There's only 2, like I said before, and he's very interesting because I derived him from many different designs. One being this magical wizard girl who I wanted to initially be trans and have that be a whole subplot, but I decided that I wasn't really equipped to tell that story and ended up scrapping it, even though I really felt like it could have been very tantalizing, but I'm just not that guy. I have to work on that a little bit more. The other design would be this guy who I was thinking was going to be like an aristocrat or a doctor or something like that. That was kind of the idea I was having. I didn't really like his design, so I had to tweak that, and it still wasn't Cian even after I tweaked it. But I was definitely going for this vibe of a very aloof type of character, a person that you can't read their mind really. You're not really ever sure what they're thinking. And it kind of morphed into this character where he's more of a doctor, but definitely a distrustful type of doctor. Like, he's more conniving and devious. And then I kind of just scrapped that as well. I tried to turn that doctor into this character here, who's also more ambiguous. And then beside them is the first design of Cian. Now, Cian is now a man with a blackout tattoo on their neck, and is definitely more of a taller, seemingly a more aggressive type of character, like a pirate type, I guess is the best way to put it. I ended up scrapping that as well and changing it into what we now know as Cian the Dark Magician. Cian is impetuous, he's aloof. He's just someone who doesn't really think before he acts, because he's just sure in his mind that whatever he's thinking is already correct. And I can already see that being trouble, you know what I mean? Like, although he can be very caring and very compassionate to Myra, the main character, because of their background as being childhood friends. But outside of that, this he's on something. I really wanted to play around with the different characters and their attitudes and have them somewhat compliment Myra, somewhat go against Myra. And I wanted them to feel, like real people. I think with this game, there is a lot of aspects to it that I've constantly been playing around with, and the one thing I've definitely enjoyed is building up these characters, which has made me more confident about going along with making this game, because it is really turning out to be a very large project to do on my own. And I know that, if I didn't have something to cling on to, I don't think I'd follow through with it, and this is what I'm clinging on to. Okay, so this is pretty much the end point of the video. I hope that I actually explained this game pretty well, or what my ideas around this game is. It's definitely still in its planning stages, and there is a lot of moving parts that I'm trying to figure out. If you don't know, I program these games by myself, and I'm learning as I'm going. I also do the art, and I'm hoping to do the UI this time myself as well. I hope in the next video I can actually explain more of the story and what is there to offer in this Otome game. But I hope that you like the visuals so far. I hope that is getting your interest, because I feel like I didn't explain the story that well. But there's also other aspects of this game that I'm still trying to figure out, which is mostly the murder mystery, which is taking up a lot of my time right now. Honestly, I didn't have a deadline for this project. I was thinking of trying to finish it before the Otome Jam finishes, which is in July. Well, really, it's like June. But I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off. If anything, I might be able to put out a demo, but I don't even know how to do that. So I'm sure it's not hard. I just never thought of putting out a demo of anything. So, hopefully it works out. Right now I have a lot of time on my hands. I don't know how long that will last, but I'm hoping that I can finish out this project maybe this year, maybe in December, or maybe it'll take longer and I'll have to finish it out in the following year. If you like anything that I was talking about, I do have other games. I have 2 other games that you can play. I definitely will be putting out more information about this game. If you want to know more about my process, I'll probably be posting stuff through my coffee, and I'll definitely try to update you guys through YouTube videos as well. It just takes up a lot of time, and it's kind of not as fun as it used to be. I don't know why, but I just don't find making YouTube videos that interesting unless I have something to say. And luckily I have something to say, because I am making a game. And if you really like it, just follow my journey and hang around. I'll probably make some more streams over time, but they're pretty sporadic, just because I do whatever I want when I feel like it, and I'm usually working on stuff like this. So yeah, thanks for listening, and have a nice day, and bye.